Hello again, welcome to Bridlington on the east coast of Yorkshire. It's now Tuesday the 10th of February 2026 and it's almost 9:15 a.m. There's a wind from the southeast which will be moving to an easterly in about 30 minutes time. It's high tide, the air temperature is 6°C and real field temperature -1. Here in Bridlington Harbour Commissioner's boat yard we see some boats in for either maintenance or repair. Looks like these are lobster fishing boats. It's raining steadily now here at Bridlington. I'll just put my gloves back on. Although this may seem a pretty bleak morning, it's an ideal day to come to a resort on the east coast of Yorkshire where there are not many people around, and it's possible to film the infrastructure of the harbour. The Yorkshire Bell over there. And there is one of the fishing cobbles that Bridlington is famous for, and this particular one is called Free Spirit. Not much activity here on the harbour, but then again we were up at 5:45 and off from just south of Leeds this morning. Came across the M62 motorway in darkness onto ferry bridge services there, where you can hardly see anything because the lighting is so poor, and then on of course to Bridlington. It's bleak and cold and bracing. I don't know whether you can see it on the screen there, but the rain is coming down. I'm filming this in 4K at 24 frames a second. But there we have, right at the back of the harbour here, the gypsy race dredger and some of the lobster fishing boats. And you can see here seaweed, which is an indication of how bad the weather must have been here recently, because this is actually inside the harbour, so you wonder perhaps where all this seaweed could have come from. Some refueling going on or something over there. There's a tanker of some sort. But the answer is the sea doesn't just come over here. This is in the harbour where it's a little bit protected, but it comes over that far harbour wall there, over there, and sort of rushes down here in a torrent. Maybe we can get to the edge there and have a look. Here of course we have the old sea latrine at the bottom of the steps there, and for the first time ever I think there's actually nothing open along here regarding coffee or anything. Again, you can see seaweed here and swirling water within the protected area of Bridlington Harbour. Let's have a look over here. We can see here quite a swell within the harbour itself, and seaweed, and these relatively new steps here. Just look at that. Can you remember when there were a lot of pleasure boats tied up along here? Not just the Yorkshire Belle, but the Bridlington Queen, the Boyzone, the Flamboyant. And that big old tug, it was painted black, wasn't it? The Yorkshireman was that, or was that something that was earlier? So here we are, and it's not just me that's filming this. No tombstoning. I had to look that up, it means no jumping over the edge. Here we have the North Sea beating against the harbour wall here. It's quite rough. You wouldn't want to be in there this morning, that's for sure. Out there, of course, you've got the white cliffs of Harbour hidden in the rain. And over here, looks as though the pier here is open at the moment. We'll walk along here then a little bit and hope not to be covered in a wave or something coming over the edge. And you can see the harbour wall here at Bridlington Harbour. It looks as though it's been sort of resurfaced along the top there with new stones. When you get a bit further along, it does seem quite deteriorated, or perhaps it's the type of stone, or perhaps it's just that it needs refacing now. You can see that these have actually had a concrete there with a concrete top put on, whereas here you've got the old rotting stone. It looks like sandstone. There we've got the fishing fleet tied up. Some work going on here with the harbour. It looks as though the sea's coming over at the end there, so time to turn around, walk back towards the town. Let's see all the sand that's been stirred up there from the bottom. Of course, it's a shallow bay here at Bridlington. I've just seen a big wave come over at the end there. So we'll step over the safety wire there. This safety wire, that's to, of course, that's to fasten a carabiner onto if in emergency situations, emergency personnel such as Coast Guard have to go along to the end for safety, because there are some tremendous seas breaking over here sometimes, particularly in winter. And here we have Bridlington town viewed from Bridlington pier, from the north pier here. And you can see lots of seagulls there, effortlessly cruising in the air currents. I should say soaring in the air currents. Or is soaring only when you get a thermal and they're actually going up in a thermal? Perhaps that's a better definition of soaring.